Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Master the Hoop. Today's topic of conversation are needles and floss. For cross stitch, we use tapestry needles. These needles have a blunt or round end, and they will not snag the fabric or they will not poke unnecessary holes in your cross stitching while you're working. These needles can come in different sizes. So depending on your project and your fabric and how many strands you use, that will tell you what size of needle you need. If you're working on 11 count, 24 would be a good size. If you are working on 14 count, you could use 24 or you could use 26. And then if you start going 18 count and higher, 28 is what you should be using. Now, I do not want you to confuse the tapestry needles with embroidery needles. Embroidery needles have a sharp end and they are not recommended for cross stitching. There are a few other specialty needles on the market. The first one is a twin pointed needle. These needles have their eye in the middle, so you can use both ends, which helps you to not have to twist and turn your needle when you're working, which in which then helps with the thread not fraying as much and twisting. The second specialty needle is the Milner needle. This needle has the eye that is the same size as the shaft of the needle, which is really great for doing French knots. And the third needle, specialty needle, is a newer on the market, and they're called ballpoint or easy guide needles. These needles have a ball at the top, which helps you avoid making stitches outside of where the holes are in Ada fabric. So they kind of guide you through that hole. So they can be very helpful for the beginners. However, twin pointed needles, Miller needles, and easy guide needles are not commonly found. You can find tapestry needles in any store, any craft store, even Walmart. However, for the specialty needles, you will have to either go to a special cross stitch or needlepoint store or order them online. The second part of today's conversation is the floss. When it comes to floss, there is really only one brand that dominates the market, and that is DMC. DMC has been around for a very long time. They're located in France, and they have basically cornered the market. All of the cross stitch books that I own use DMC as a floss reference. So when you look at the patterns, you will see the numbers, the DMC numbers. And also, most of the patterns that you will purchase, whether on Etsy or Amazon, the books, they will also use DMC. DMC is 100% cotton thread, and it's a 6-ply. So we can separate these into as many threads as we need for our project. All of the DMC floss comes with a number. So when you are looking at the pattern, it will most likely have the numbers listed and not the color. So you will find the specific numbers you need and you will work your pattern. Now the DMC has more than just a 6-strand cotton. They also have uh, color variations. They have rayon floss. They have metallic floss. They have um, satin, metallic satin, and then these are the bright colors that I have found. It's almost like a highlighter green, which I think is really fun, and it's good for grading the fabric. The other two options that we use when we want to add special sparkle to the project is the metallic. This is also DMC. It's a metallic thread, and there is a blending filament that does not is not used by itself, but is added to the thread, and you work them together as you're making your project. There are quite a few off-name brands that you can find that have um, a place in cross stitching world. For example, these are variegated colors that I have found. It's an off brand, but these are really fun to use when doing embroidery, and they can also add a lot of fun to the cross stitch project as well. Now, when you are just starting out, you do not necessarily have to have a DMC. If you are working on a project like this, which is a small project, it won't take you very long time. All you basically need is a green, black, and some sort of golden yellow. However, if you are working on a project that is more bigger and more involved, you would use you want to use the DMC because it is the only way to get your pattern to look right because of all the colors and shades that they have. If you well once once we get serious about cross stitching, most of the cross stitchers will start to build their library of floss. So because there are hundreds of colors, and it is working on projects like this, you do not even use up a whole like this project has 49 colors. Most of them are brown and blue, and they do not require very much floss. So once you're done using the color that you need for the project, there is ways that you can store those. So you can either wind them or bobbins and store them like this, or you can use a ring with bags and store them in there. I prefer, I prefer the ring because I can just grab it and go with my project. Uh, but this is also a very nice visual way to see what you have. One thing I want to add as a bonus tip, this is um, thread conditioner. Sometimes when using metallic threads, they tend to fray a lot. So it is good to just run them over the thread conditioner, and it does help. It makes it easier to work with. And I think that is all I had for today's topic. Please let me know if you have any questions regarding the floss or the needles, and I would be happy to help. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time on Master the Hoop.